I changed profiles here just so it looks better. I was just showing that other one how to basically just get to the setup process or find your business in the Google My Business system or to edit yours. If you already have a business in your system, you can, when you're on your Google, just click your application manager right here, and just click Business Profile Manager. It'll bring up this screen right here. Yours may not be verified yet. If it's not verified, you're very limited on what you can do. That's when the verification through either that phone number or the video you can do, or sometimes they still do the postcards, but after it's verified, it unlocks everything. Always make sure check your profile strength here. It'll be totally red if you just made your profile or you just claimed your business, and there'll be probably a lot of just honestly just click that. It'll take you step by step on things to set up. But I'm going to show you how to set this system up so Google has the most, you give Google the most credibility that it thinks that you have. That way it's more likely to show your business in the Google business results instead of all your competitors. So make sure click here, go to edit profile. The about information. Make sure your business name is exactly how it is on everything else. Make sure your business categories, your primary is home inspector, and then you can click edit. You can add other categories. You can't make custom categories. You can only start typing and see what's in there. The only thing they have for inspectors is home inspector and building inspector. If you offer other services, there's some, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's some other auxiliary services in there possible, but that's the two primary ones that I have in there. The description. This is very important. Nobody's really going to read. No humans gonna. It says what it is, home inspection company. They're just gonna go to your website or call you or something. But this description though is public. The public can see it. But Google pulls data from this description when people are searching for a business in the area, like for a home inspector, even though your business category is home inspector and building inspector, Google's also pulling data from this information for other things people might be searching for. So it's very important when you write your business description to be loaded with keywords and key locations. Mine just starts out with Clarksville Home Inspector. I already have my service area set to Clarksville, but this is just another way of establishing authority with Google. And confidence level, it's higher if they think your description is also matching the service area. I mentioned home inspector and home inspection, Clarksville, Tennessee, multiple times in the description. I also mentioned the different electrical systems, heating systems, cooling systems, interior, all this, because that might be things people are searching for. And then when Google's trying to, because people just, they might be on their phone and they're looking for home inspector and they might type in kind of just, right. If you can look at the Google search results and see some of the bizarre things people type in, the algorithm has to then figure out what they're actually looking for. Then they display results to them based off the highest level of confidence Google has. So you want Google to be very confident that you're a home inspector with a home inspection business in your service area and your description matches what you do, and it goes a little bit more into detail. That way their algorithm can crawl your description and all the information you put in everywhere else, and then have a highest level of confidence to present to potential clients searching for home inspectors in the area. So description, very important. Make sure you load it up with your location, who you are again, home inspector, home inspection, the systems, what you inspect, very important. You don't have to put an opening date, but you can. Phone number, website, short name, business location. You can actually edit this to, you have to have a physical location for Google to verify your information, but you can then toggle this off and remove business address for your customers. I leave it on. I have nothing to hide, but I understand if you don't want your personal address to your customers. Service areas, very important. You got to have these service areas filled in with the areas you service. They used to be able to do a miles radius search you could do from a zip code, um, or you can just do exact cities and areas. I like doing the cities and areas. I'm honestly on a state border, so a lot of you are near other cities that you may not want to work in, and cities you do, or counties you want to work in, and counties you don't, or you're at a state border. So it's easier to go county by county or city by city and fill this in, because that way, when somebody's looking for a home inspector in Ashland City, Tennessee, um, you know, will be displayed, but 2 miles across the border in Kentucky for this situation, we're not going to be displayed because we just don't service Kentucky. Way too busy in Tennessee between Clarksville and Nashville, so we just don't service Kentucky. But so I'm not going to waste anybody's time, and also not going to waste my time showing up in search results that are not important or not an area we don't service. So it's very important for these areas to have areas that you actually do service, and you can do it by zip code, city, everything. You'll notice these service areas, like Clarksville's in here 3 times. Clarksville, Tennessee, Clarksville 37040, 37043. I didn't do that. Sometimes Google makes little edits to search history, what people are looking for, and they link people up. So every once in a while you got to go back in, because people can actually make edits to your profile, believe it or not. And sometimes those edits just go through without you even knowing about it. And I'll explain that in a second. Business hours, very important. You either can be you're just always open basically with no business hours, or open with hours. I put hours in there because I've Sundays and Mondays I have another business we actually run, so I just can't do much on Sundays or Mondays. But I do have my business hours listed in there, even though I work well outside those hours most of the time. If you A lot of this stuff are planning, crowd, amenities, all this is for if this was like an event venue or something, which we're not, so it's really not going to make sense. So very important, your about information or description has got to be loaded with keywords. Contact information has to be 100% accurate with absolutely no errors in it. Your business location has to be verified. Your service areas have to be exactly where you want to service and where you're willing to work. Business hours I recommend filling in. So that's good for the business information. Products. So if you want to put some of your inspection services, you don't have. So if you use a inspection software, which I assume you do, uh, anybody would nowadays, but you might want to link your bookings through a booking link here. You can set up a booking link and then add a link to an inspection software provider, so they can book directly off your Google Business page. I just like to add a product or two, just like home inspection service as a product, because it gives Google more credibility. It gives you more credibility to Google when people are searching for those types of services. Correct. I know it says services right here, but you can add a home inspection as a product just to get it in the system, because these services are kind of broad. These services Google kind of makes up for you. You have to go through and edit all of them on what you're willing to do and not do. Where am I at here? So yeah, so like you can add a service with a price and all these. A lot of times these will get changed. I don't even know where some of the stuff comes from. You can go in there and delete the service out of the system. I don't know where they pull the data from sometimes. Google will constantly change your service menu on there. It sounds really annoying, but it's really not really relevant. Google's actually just modifying your profile as people search for different services, and then they go to your profile after they search that service. Google then actually adds those services into your services. They're not saying you have to provide that, and they're not saying even a price or anything, but make sure you just keep your service list up to date and just check it every once in a while, because sometimes it gets out of hand. I think at one point it said I did wastewater treatment facility inspections or something. We don't do anything of the sort, and I had to go in there and just remove that. It didn't affect my profile on Google. I don't think too many people are searching for that, so it's not a big deal. But your service menu will actually change quite a bit, even without your knowledge sometimes. Pictures. Very important to add your logo and add plenty of pictures to your Google business listing. Don't add cheesy stock photos of that you got offline. Add your profile photo, any type of banner photos you might have, or header photo or header displays that you have from a graphic designer, and then just add actual photos of your business or of inspections or of home inspection related things that are your own private photos. When you upload stock photos and such, Google does recognize those. Actually, I don't know if you've ever looked at Google Lens. You can actually take a or use your Google Lens and look at about anything, and Google will analyze it, and it'll pull it. If it found it somewhere else on the internet, it'll tell you this is where this photo is from. And Google's actually analyzing your profile at all times. So if you start using a bunch of stock photos from just other websites you pulled off, Google will know that. They'll recognize that, and they'll give you lower confidence. They will give your profile a lower score of confidence because they're like, well, why are you just, reusing other stock items? So for your photos, add organic, individual photos that you've taken at inspections or mock inspections or anything like that, and that'll really help your credibility in Google. And then make sure you add, where's it at here? I'm sorry.